10 Golden Maxims the Ancients Never Uttered. Transform your life this very day. Do you believe that mere words hold the power to shape one's very destiny? That judicious silence oft outweighs a torrent of empty phrases? Hail, and welcome to a journey of unraveling communication secrets and the wisdom of ancient sages. In this scroll, we shall together decode 10 pronouncements that the ancients advised never to speak in any circumstance. Tarry not to scroll away, for these lessons shall not only shield thee from unforeseen calamities but shall also unlock a life of tranquility, felicity, and resounding triumph. Let us commence forthwith. Part 1, Speak Little, Listen Much, the Secret of Cultivated Men. The ancients taught that a man of cultivation knows to speak little, listen much. This is not merely a skill of discourse but a manifestation of composure, profundity, and the mastery of one's passions. Personal reflection. In this raucous epoch, we are oft ensnared in a whirlwind of self-expression, contention, and the defense of personal convictions. Few pause to truly listen, to comprehend another's heart. Yet, it is this very silence of attentive listening that holds the key to unlocking the gates of understanding, empathy, and enduring relationships. An example, recall, if thou wilt, those fiery disputes in which thou hast partaken. How often didst thou truly lend thine ear to thy counterpart, and how oft didst thou merely seek to fire forth thine own arguments? The result, as oft, is that both parties grow vexed, none yield, and the bond between them waxes strained. Illustrative tale. The Chronicle of Confucius and the Impetuous Disciple. One day, as Confucius lectured his disciples, there was one, renowned for his choleric temper, who oft interrupted his master and disputed his words. On this day, Confucius expounded on the virtue of humility. The disciple, emboldened, stood forth and declared, "Master, I deem humility to be the province of the weak. The strong must needs display their might." Confucius, unmoved by ire, merely smiled and said, "Behold, then, the rice stalk. When young, it stands tall and proud, yet when laden with grain, it bows low to the earth. Is this not the humility of the strong?" The disciple, his spirit chastened, pondered in silence, then bowed his head in penitence. Lesson: Speak little, listen much is not only a means to avert confrontation but an opportunity to learn, to expand one's knowledge, and to forge bonds of amity. Silent listening is respect for others, the humility of one possessed of wisdom. Part 2, Interrupt Not, Respect and Humility. To interrupt another is among the most uncouth and disrespectful acts of discourse. The ancients taught that he who doth not interrupt understands the principle of humility, never seeking to display his own intellect above that of another. Personal reflection. In modern society, many are wont to interrupt in order to demonstrate their erudition, to prove themselves more intelligent. Yet, in truth, such behavior reveals a lack of patience, disrespect, and an arrogance of spirit. An example, in a council, thou art presenting thine ideas when thou art continually cut off by another who interjects with his own notions. How doth thou feel? Assuredly, vexation, frustration, and a waning enthusiasm to speak. Illustrative tale. The tale of two friends in the mist. Conclusion: two bosom friends, long parted, meet once more. One, filled with excitement, recounts the travails and triumphs of his profession. The other, a man of experience and sagacity, constantly interjects with advice. At length, the speaker, his patience frayed, cries out, "I merely wish to share my tale, not to be instructed how to live it." From that day forth, the friendship between them grew cold. Lesson: to not interrupt is to honor another, to grant him the space to utter his thoughts, to display humility and attentive listening. At times, silent listening outweighs even the wisest of counsel. Part 3, Inquire not of the past, look to the future. The ancients taught that a man of maturity ought not inquire of the past. For what is past is immutable. Rather than dwell in bygones, let one focus upon the present and strive towards the morrow. Personal reflection. Many cultivate the habit of exhuming the past of others, particularly their sorrows, their past misdeeds. Such behavior wounds not only the target but also sows seeds of negativity in the present. An example, in a love affair, thou continually recallest the past transgressions of thy beloved. Dost this nurture a bond of amity? Nay, 'twill only burden the heart and hinder the construction of a brighter future. Illustrative tale. The chronicle of a man and the specters of his past. A man, in his yesteryears, committed a deed of grave import, leaving him forever mired in remorse and contrition. He could not forget the past, nor forgive himself. His life became barren, devoid of joy and hope. Lesson: the past is a lesson, not a burden. Learn from it, but allow it not to haunt thee nor command thy present life. To focus upon the now, to build the future, this is wisdom's path. Part 4. Inquire not of present hardship, overcome trials. The ancients taught that a diligent man ought not inquire of present hardship. For life is fraught with crests and troughs, with trials. Rather than lament the present, let one focus on surmounting obstacles and building a fairer morrow. Personal reflection: many cultivate the habit of lamenting their present plight, blaming circumstance and fate. Yet, lamentation avails not, it only weakens the spirit and saps resolve. An example: thou face adversity in thy profession, thou continually lament to friends and colleagues. Doth this solve thy woes? Nay, it doth not. Rather than wail, seek knowledge, hone thy skills, and seek fresh opportunities. Illustrative tale. The chronicle of a woman and life's trials. A woman faced manifold tribulations, a poor family, arduous labor, ailing children. Rather than lament and yield to fate, she ever strove, seeking new knowledge, searching for opportunities to better her lot. In the end, she conquered all and built a life more prosperous for herself and kin. Lesson: life is not ever facile, yet we have the power to choose how to meet its challenges. Rather than lament, focus on solutions, seek knowledge, and never cease to strive. Part 5. Inquire not of the future, live fully in the present. The ancients taught that a generous man ought not inquire of the future. For the future is yet to come, unknowable. Rather than fret over the morrow, live fully each moment of the present. Personal reflection: many are wont to worry over things yet to be, fearing risks and uncertainties. Yet, worry doth not avert ill fortune, but only burdens the spirit and robs life of its joy. An example: thou art preparing for an examination of great import, thou continually frettest over whether thou shalt pass. Doth this aid thy studies? Assuredly, it doth not. Instead of worry, focus on study and preparation. Illustrative tale. The chronicle of a monk and the lesson of living fully. A monk dwelt in a temple high in the mountains. Each day, he dedicated himself to meditation and reveling in nature's beauty. One day, a man sought him out, saying, "Master, I am vexed by worries over my future. What am I to do?" The monk smiled and replied, "Live fully each moment of the present. Fret not over what is yet to be, savor what thou hast." Lesson: the future is a mystery. Let it not haunt thee and command thy present existence. Live fully each moment, savor what thou hast, this is the path to happiness and meaning. Part 6. 3 Signs, how speech reveals good or ill. The ancients taught that words spring from the heart. From a man's speech, one can discern whether he is good or ill. Words that uphold virtue's law, speech should be sincere, kind, and constructive. Deep waters flow slow, and revered men speak with gentle dignity. A man of cultivation does not speak with bitterness, boastfulness, or lamentation. To speak is but a skill, to know what not to speak is wisdom. Shun complaint, negativity, anger, arrogance, blame, slander, private matters, and falsehood. Personal reflection: in our modern age, many prize eloquence above ethical speech. They believe that fine words alone can achieve their goals. Yet, speech lacking virtue is but a double-edged sword, capable of harming both others and oneself. An example: a man speaks with honeyed words, yet slanders others behind their backs. Doth thou trust him? Assuredly not. Illustrative tale. The chronicle of a merchant and his false promise. A merchant vowed to deliver goods promptly, yet failed to do so. The customer felt cheated and lost faith in the man. Lesson: speech is a mirror reflecting the soul. Speak with sincerity, kindness, and construction. Eschew bitterness, falsehood, and words that wound. Part 7. The Heart of Man. The ancients taught that to know a man's heart, look to two things. Gratitude to those who have aided him. He who is grateful possesses a kind heart and is trustworthy. His bearing when faced with benefit. He who sacrifices virtue for immediate gain lacks foresight. Personal reflection. In modern society, many prize personal gain above virtue and gratitude. They are quick to bite the hand that feeds, deceive, and betray for selfish ends. An example: a man is aided by a friend in adversity, yet turns his back when the friend needs succor. How dost thou feel? Illustrative tale. The Chronicle of a Farmer and a Serpent. A farmer discovered a serpent frozen on the road. Moved by pity, he gathered the serpent and warmed it in his bosom. When the serpent revived, it bit the farmer. With his dying breath, the farmer lamented, "I erred in aiding one so ungrateful." Lesson: gratitude and virtue are the bedrock of all good relations. Cherish those who have aided thee, and forsake not conscience for selfish gain. Part 8. Politeness. The ancients taught that excessive politeness may harm oneself and damage relations. Personal reflection: many believe politeness to be a virtue. Yet, excessive politeness may render thee meek, easily exploited, and lacking in conviction. An example: thou art ever willing to aid others, even when it impinges upon thy work and life. Illustrative tale. The Chronicle of a Man and Countless Requests. A man was ever ready to aid others, even in difficult and inconvenient matters. He dared not refuse any request, lest he offend another. At length, he grew weary, stressed, and without time for himself. Lesson: know when to refuse, and aid only those who deserve it. Let not politeness harm thee nor damage thy relationships. Part 9. Cultivation. The ancients taught that cultivation need not be in the deep mountains, but must be cultivated in life, in labor. Personal reflection: many believe that cultivation requires detachment from the world, seeking serene locales for meditation and self-improvement. Yet, cultivation is a process of refining oneself, elevating one's spirit, and living a life of meaning. An example: thou ever strivest to fulfill thy duties, aid colleagues, and live in harmony with all. Illustrative tale. The Chronicle of the Carpenter. A carpenter devoted his life to building homes for others. In his twilight years, he realized that he had never built a home for himself. Lesson: cultivation is not fleeing from life, but meeting its trials and tribulations with a spirit of peace and fortitude. Part 10. The Heart Contains. The ancients taught that what the heart contains, that is what thou art. Personal reflection: the soul is a fertile field, where the seeds of good or ill take root. If the soul harbors that which is good, then life is filled with joy and meaning. Conversely, if the soul harbors that which is ill, then life is fraught with pain and unhappiness.